Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am so happy and joyful to see all of you.
Not sure of your headset.
Oh,
Let's see. The mic is here. There we go.
there we go. I have a runaway mic. Has anyone seen it? And right there is the thing. Somebody said to me before I started today, they said, about having how I felt about the service or having a good service. I said, well, I know I'm going to screw it up somewhere. That's okay. It's okay. And in fact, if I can finish getting this attached, because we all know my mouth is not big enough, right? My voice is not loud enough. It's, I'm over here really trying to do the, hit the last row. And I want to welcome you. My name is Kevin Ross Emery. My pronouns are he, him, and fabulous. And beside the joy of seeing all of you, I want to welcome all the people that are online. I don't know if anyone has noticed, but we just might be in challenging times. Anyone besides me get that feeling? Right? If so, maybe you've noticed that even when personal things are really great, that they become just a little less shiny. And if we have any burden, well, it seems heavier. Little things that you might brush away, like that fly. We all remember the fly, okay? Now kind of sort of seems like it's a mosquito. The one that you don't catch until it's already got their fill of your blood, right? But anybody out there, challenging times or not, has ever thought, I don't want to be a burden? You hear that voice? You know, that voice that says inside of your head that everyone else has so much going on, you don't want to be a burden. You don't want to add to their problems. I know, I have had that voice. I know that voice very well. Or maybe you're that person who knows that everyone else counts on you. Whether it's for a helping hand, a smile, a laugh, a kind word, or in my case, at the most interesting of times, I might break out into a song. Tale as old as time. You are that person that when you're around, people feel seen, feel accepted, feel heard, they feel loved. And that is just simply who you are, most of the time. But then there are times when you're simply not. And let's face it, it's easier when times are less challenging, within your life, within the world. But are you one of those people who, even when things are challenging at home, you can still be there for others? Do I have any of those people here? You can still be there for other people. It's your nature. Your very presence just helps people. The person that's having challenging times and getting weighed down, but then sometimes you just simply get tired. Sometimes the greater world challenges and your personal challenges almost seem to be ganging up on you, right? Mm-hmm. You ever feel that way? Yeah. I know I have. However, whether real or imagined, you almost feel an obligation or an expectation to still be that person. The one who everyone else can count on for the kind word, a smile, or a laugh. That obligation, that expectation may all be in your head, or maybe it is in some of the people around you, or most likely it's a combination of both. When everyone around you is feeling the proverbial weight of the world, and maybe their personal one as well, you need to be that smile, that laugh, or breaking out in that song even when you may not be feeling like it. True as it can be. But you don't feel like you are that person that doesn't get to be okay. People count on you. If you're any less than that laugh or that smile or that hug, then they might ask you if you're okay. And maybe right in that moment, you're not. But you don't want to share that because you don't want to be a burden. At points when your world and or the world was less challenging, it was just who you were. But maybe now, sometimes it's a mask you wear. Because why? Why? Because you don't want to be a what? Burden. You don't want to be a burden. There is also that sneaky little part of you that might be hanging out in the back of the head. You know, way back here in the head, kind of whispering at you, the one you try not to listen to. We all have them, you know. Sometimes it's a voice of fear or anxiety. And then there is the one that says, if you're not the smile, if you're not the laugh, that maybe, just maybe, they won't want you around. That maybe they'll avoid you at coffee hour or engage with other people when they see you coming. And no, the front part of your brain, if it even registers that that thought is in the back of your head, says, hogwash. That doesn't stop the ever so subtle mutterings. I want you all to take a moment and see if you can think of that one time when maybe you weren't the self that everyone was expecting. Close your eyes for a second. See if you can see that one time when maybe you weren't just being your normal self, the one that everyone was expecting or counting on. That time when maybe you made yourself vulnerable and it wasn't received well, whether intentional or unintentional, conscious or unconscious. You expressed how you really felt, and that ended up walking away. And you ended up walking away as feeling as if you weren't heard or seen, or maybe that you were just flat out rejected. Where you were wasn't okay. And at that moment, maybe you were risking your place in your tribe, whether your church, your community, your workplace, or with your family and friends. Years ago, I knew something was going wrong with my health. But I had so many commitments, so many people counting on me, that I just kept pushing myself. Kept telling my body, hold on. I will make time for you. Just wait till that break for the holidays, right? Come on, it's just a little longer. Just wait till the holidays. At that time, I'll hibernate. I'll figure it out. You can get sick, and I'll figure out how to get you healthy again. But not now. Oh, if any of you were wondering, do you ever really get a break on the holidays? Anybody wondering? You're like, whoa, what do you mean? Well, I was in a newer place, living far away from my family and my community, my old community, and I could just easily drop out of sight. fix the problem, and no one would have to know. I wouldn't be a bother to anyone. I had not been in my new place that long. I had yet to have connected with the UU community. And yes, there was a fairly large UU community there. I did have a few friends that I knew before I moved there, but they would all be tied up in the holidays. So if I just pushed myself a little longer, then I could just fix it, not bother anybody. Of course, I bet many of you know where this is going. Just before my last 10-day, 14-hour-a-day teaching at a boot camp that I was scheduled to do, I collapsed. I ended up at the hospital, 2 a.m., and I wasn't leaving quickly. My staff had to cover for me, who frankly I scared the bejesus out of. I told them to tell no one. I didn't want anyone to be bothered. I didn't want to be a burden. For a week, I was touch and go. They didn't know if I was going to make it, and frankly, neither did I. But since I couldn't actually tell anyone what was wrong, because the doctors didn't know, I didn't tell my parents or most of my family. Only a couple of friends, my sister, and my staff knew because it was kind of impossible to hide from them. But they were all sworn to secrecy. I didn't want to ruin anyone else's holidays. But there was this one person who called me out of the blue. And I did choose to tell her. She told me, "I can't deal with you dying. Call me when you've recovered." And she hung up the phone. So you see, my little voices were right. But as you can see, I did survive. Even if they weren't ever conclusive as to what almost killed me, they settled on a heart virus. They called it idiopathic cardiomyopathy. Loosely translated, the idiots didn't know what path it took. And they kind of did their best guess at what it was. But they only knew the symptoms. And the damage it did to my heart, well, I left there with 15% of my heart working. I was living alone. My staff was headed out of town for the holidays. For the most part, those few friends I did have in the area, however, they rallied. They made sure that when I got home, I wasn't alone for the holidays. I will always remember and be forever grateful for my friend that called me Christmas Eve morning when one of my friends and asked me what I was doing. And when I told her I was going to be alone, she sent her daughter over an hour away to pick me up and go over there so I wouldn't be alone. Others made sure that I got what I needed when I was still too sick to drive or shop, even cook. As the word quietly got out around what happened, I did have a few different friends who actually flew in, spent a week at a time with me. Did it happen because I reached out? Because I asked for support? No, it happened because my assistant at the time chose to rat me out, claiming that they would kill him if he hadn't called them and told them. And not one of them ever made me feel like a burden. Even in my weakened state, each one expressed the blessing of getting to have that time with me. To be there for me like I had so often been there for them. Though my local community was small, it was mighty. Those connections were strong. And if I had spoken up earlier, trusted them, I wouldn't have ended up quite as bad as I did, creating unnecessary difficulties along the way. I discovered the importance of community in a whole new way. Was it my church community? No, because I had not found the time to invest in that community, to participate, to connect. Why? Well, I can tell you the practical reasons. Because there are always practical reasons. Such as, even though I'd lived there for over a year, in that year I had traveled out of town almost 300 of the 365 days. And though if I was home, it was normally going to be on a weekend, and would be on a Sunday, I just had too much to do. Anybody here have too much to do to show up for church sometimes? Right? If I had made an effort to actually connect into that church community, I do know without a doubt that they would have showed up for me as well. But what made that community so powerful was the investment I had made into those relationships, the things that I had shown up for. Those times that I made them smile, laugh, feel loved, feel seen, and even broken into a song. Barely even friends, then somebody bends unexpectedly. And the one who couldn't be there for me, well, as soon as that phone disconnected and I recovered from the shock, I realized that in some ways I was like a father figure for her, that her own father was terminally ill and dying. I had been there for her during this because I could. And in that moment, she couldn't. Did that mean she didn't care? Or she didn't love me? No! It meant that simply she couldn't. But the strength of true community is that even when one person maybe just can't be there in your time of need, there will be others who can. And sometimes you are the person that just can't be there, and that's okay. So as we're preparing to enter our new church home next month, think about how to engage in relationship with that new home, with the return to more normal routines, and yet a new and ever-changing church family. Consider the ways in which you may strengthen your thread in our web, increase your connection points, and how that web and those connection points can give you strength during these challenging times, whether they are the world's, yours, or both. Relationships come in many levels and even many flavors. The question is, at the time when the need for resilience has never been higher, how can you be helped by this, our web? And how can you help others by engaging in it in a deeper, more meaningful way? Joining a covenant group is one of those ways. And at this point, I would like anyone who is here today that is comfortable doing so, that is either a covenant leader or member, to stand up. Please stand up. Look and see who these people are around you. During coffee hour, reach out to them and say, what is it like for you in a covenant group? Has it been there for you? Has it been a place where you got support and gave support? Thank you. And the beauty of joining and actually showing up for a covenant group, oh, by the way, you need to show up for it, minor detail, is that you build your unique personality as a group. And that group comes to know you. And when you form deeper connections, it's easier to share how you're truly doing, no matter what is going on with you or where you are at any given moment. To know that those people in that group see you as a blessing, not a burden. And because they have come to know you in a way that only a small ministry covenant group can foster, they won't even have to be told. They will just be there. And because you are in a covenant group with them, any other connection point that you may have, either in or out of our community with them, will continue to strengthen that bond. Not all connection points in our church offer the same opportunity for coming to know other people in your group. Through the process of exploring our faith more deeply, like a covenant group does. Next month, the Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we will be returning to our newly upgraded home. Can I get a yay? Amen! Yay! For some, it will actually be the first time that they have been in our church at all. For others who have much history with our church, rich memories, countless joys and sorrows they have shared there, it will be a time of adjustment. We might find something that we miss from the old place, something we may have a struggle adjusting to in the new. And then the new people who have only ever been here for church get to be with us there. When there seems to be so much instability in all we hold dear these days, change of any kind can become more unsettling. But the people, especially those who are more of your deeper connection points in our web, they are right there with you. And in our web, no one should ever feel alone. Now, if you're feeling like now more than ever is time to strengthen and deepen your connection to our faith and to our fellow threads, cool threads, man, right? Think about joining one of our ongoing covenant groups, or even start one for yourself. Me, you say? How could I start a covenant group? Well, that's because there are other connection points. The other covenant leaders, Sadie, we are all here. And then you don't get to just strengthen one point with your covenant group, but you get two for the price of one. What a deal, right? I'll be around for coffee hour and always find a time to meet with anyone interested in learning more. Thank you all for being part of my web. Namaste.